everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 19th, 2025. Okay, well, I think it's pretty clear that Kane's AI is responsible for what happened to Noah. Just saying. I blame Kane. That is all. Oh, wow. We are going to get a brand new Noah with a bandaged face reveal and a mystery to solve with a brand new hot knot detective. He's a hot knot detective because he's hot, but he's not a detective. But I thought he was, but now he's not, but he's also hot. I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. So I'm a happy camper this week. And I don't want to speak too soon, but did you see the sparks between the hot knot detective and Sharon? I mean, through her grief, I could really feel the chemistry. I think maybe this is a new relationship that could help pull her out of her grief, out of the grief, and into a new relationship. I'm kidding. Obviously, Sharon is too distressed to be thinking about relationships right now. I mean, she has on her flannel shirt. If you guessed that I would be wearing flannel this week as an homage to Sharon, you were correct. It's the universal sign for something ain't right. Oh my gosh, Sharon is wearing flannel. Something's not right. Noah has been in a terrible accident. Yes. So Sharon went to LA thinking she was going to find her son opening up a brand new nightclub. And instead she found him lying in a hospital bed with brain damage, needing brain surgery. Good old brain surgery. Can't beat that. I mean, that is classic soap opera right there. A car accident, a bandaged face, needs brain surgery. Who could want anything more? Oh my goodness. Nick arrived in LA just in time. He called back home to Victor saying, I need you to find me the best brain specialist in the world. We thought you'd never ask, Nick. We thought you'd never ask. Sharon has been practically inconsolable. I mean, this feels like it's Cassie happening all over again. Sharon is thinking back to another hospital bed that she and Nick were sitting beside 30 years ago with another bandaged head and another car accident. And I really did enjoy Sharon's heartbreaking, tender moments where she was pleading for her son's life. I mean, even though I know it's all very silly, I found Sharon Case's performance to be very moving, and I also really enjoyed the little moments between Nick and Sharon, like when he went to the vending machine to get her favorite candy bar that she hasn't had in ages. That was just lovely, even though the candy bar looked more like a granola bar when she opened it. Only in soap operas is someone's favorite candy bar a granola bar. Uh-huh. Well, The hot nut detective came in and told Nick and Sharon that the LAPD suspects that someone ran Noah off the road intentionally. But then it turns out that that guy wasn't a detective at all. I mean, I should have known better. Did you see his hair? I mean, it was way too coiffed for a man who was ready to solve a crime. How was he going to get anything done with that hair? He was clearly impersonating a cop. I guess just to find out what the status was with Noah, whether he was going to live or die. Maybe to find out if Nick and Sharon had any clue about what their son was up to. Maybe he's trying to find something out that no one knew. Maybe no one knew some information and he was trying to pump the parents to find out. I don't know, but while Nick and Sharon were sitting there, a phone call came through to Noah's phone. Like, first of all, who calls? I mean, in reality, that would have been a text message, but okay. Phone call comes through from Sienna Bacall. Ooh, what a Hollywood name. Sienna Bacall. And let me tell you right now, she's great. She is, I fully intend to love her. It was love at first sight between me and her. But even before I knew she was going to be part of the larger storyline, the second I saw her, I was like, ooh, she's giving me Lisa Bonet vibes, which is high praise. I think Lisa Bonet is so beautiful and so intriguing. And she just has that beautiful, mysterious, intriguing, mature delivery about her style. She had style and unique delivery, and I really feel like I'm gonna enjoy her a lot. And now we know that Sienna is connected to Holden. We know that from this week and from the previews for next week. But we also know that Sienna has an unfavorable opinion of Audra, and Audra dated Noah. So, I don't know, maybe Noah got tangled up into the same thing, the same crowd, the same scam that Audra got tangled up in. I couldn't help but notice the massive money clip that was among Noah's belongings. I mean, he had a big wad of cash on him. I don't know, maybe he was trying to do something to hustle up some money and the deal went wrong? Well, now that Audra is officially single again, I think she's going to be ready to help Noah unravel this mystery. Let me tell you, I was not excited about a Nate and Victoria reunion, mostly because I feel like they didn't have a ton of romantic chemistry the first time around. But also, I will fully admit that I am still bitter over Cole's death. I feel like Y&R got rid of him way too soon. He had way too much potential. And I just feel like Cole is the great guy that Victoria should be with at this stage. But I am also not gonna lie, I did appreciate Nate's particular brand of comfort in the park. Because he could not keep his hands off of her. Did you notice that? They were sitting on the park bench together, and the entire time he had one hand subtly placed on her back upper ribs. They were like on her back rib cage the whole time. Sort of an intimate area. And it was just resting there, steadily comforting her and me. Mainly her, but also me. And I thought to myself, well, I guess I could get used to this touching. Nate touching her, but also me. But it didn't even end there, because the second that they stood up, first they kind of repositioned and he brought his hand around and they were holding hands sitting there. He put his hand on top of, like, her hands were in her lap, and then he put his hands on top of hers in her lap. With the sweetest, most reassuring smile on his face. And then when they stood up, they both stood there holding hands, and that was what Audra witnessed. I mean, man, this is really fast-tracked. I mean, there was a lot of touching in that scene. It was nothing but touch, touch, touch. I did not hear a single word that either one of them said, because the body language said everything I needed to know. Check, got it. And then even after that scene in the park, they mentioned that they were also going to have dinner together. So they were going to meet for a run and then have dinner together later. My goodness. How on earth are they going to get any eating done when they can't keep their hands off of each other? The Newmans are back at home in Genoa City, worried to death about Noah. And Victoria said, "Oh, I know. I will just go ahead and ruin Claire's vacation by texting her and asking her to head over to the hospital to visit the cousin she's never met." I mean, Claire is trying to enjoy this hip LA vacay with the coolest guy in town, and now she's got to go sit bedside right next to Noah in his breathing tube. What a bummer. Pass. Sorry, Mom, I'm gonna have to pass on that. And that's just one of the ways that Victoria has ruined Claire's LA trip. I cannot believe that Victoria would tell Kyle where Claire is. Claire has a right to be very annoyed with her mother when she gets home. I mean, yes, Kyle did turn on his puppy dog eyes for Victoria, and yes, he did say all the right things, but Claire has made it very clear to everyone that she wants space. I feel like Victoria had no right to give Kyle that information, and Kyle had no right to just show up uninvited and try to disrupt her plans. That being said, I'm glad he did. So glad he did. Because I really love Kyle. I just really love the way Michael Mealor plays him. I can't say it enough. I know exactly who Kyle Abbott is. I get him completely. And the fact that Claire was trying to recover from a hangover, having a little bit of morning coffee after this incredibly exciting night out with hot new boyfriend, hot new rebound guy, Kyle shows up at the cafe with this big bouquet of flowers. A big, dorky, outrageous bouquet of unnecessary flowers. How embarrassing. I wanted to die for them both. Something you should know about me in case it ever comes up. I find receiving flowers to be extremely embarrassing. I'm okay if they're delivered to the house. But physically receiving a bouquet of flowers, I find to be extremely embarrassing. Because, first of all, now you've got all of this attention from everyone around you. Oh, there's the girl holding the giant bouquet of flowers. What's going on there? Let's all stare. Second of all, now you got to carry the flowers everywhere you go. They're yours. I mean, you're expected to carry and keep them. So now everywhere you go, everybody's just staring at you as the girl who's carrying the giant bouquet of flowers. So I found that to be totally mortifying. Plus, Claire had this like hangover, new life, modern vibe, possibly still little bits of last night's mascara remnants going on. And then Kyle shows up like it's homecoming. I mean, it was just, I found it to be so embarrassing for them both. But so enjoyable. Easily favorite moment of the week. And Claire looked at him like, what in the hell are you doing here? In fact, at one point, she told him to take his flowers and go home. Part of me just honestly can't even believe that she entertained him for as long as she did. And I think the only reason she did listen to anything he had to say was because he played the Harrison card. Oh, Harrison had a nightmare. Oh, it was about all three of us. Well, you got to pose for a picture now, for Harrison's sake. And so Claire gave Kyle a little bit of attention, a little bit of tenderness, a little bit of her time. And he tried to tag along. He tried to tag it up. He said, oh, I'll tag up on this vacation too. I'll be here a couple days. But then Holden was able to ride in to the rescue and get a little bit of affirmation from her via a chest touch. Oh my goodness, Y&R Chatters. This was the week of the chest touch. Scandalous chest touching on two of the guys on the show who arguably have the best chests. Welcome to Chest Week on Y&R. Phyllis and Kane and the chest touch that lingered so long. You could have grabbed a snack and then come back to the screen and Phyllis's hand still would have been on Kane's chest when you got back. That chest touch was honestly so provocative that Kane had to hurry up and call Lily afterwards. What was that all about? There was clearly this sexually tensioned moment, and I know that it was sexually tensioned because the music that played over the scene suggested it. Even if I just wanted to pretend that it was a friendly chest touch, the music said otherwise. And Kane was so rattled by it that the second Phyllis walked away, he called Lily's voicemail saying, I don't even know what to say. I just wanted to hear your voice. Are you kidding me, Kane? If you can't take the heat, then you need to get out of the kitchen. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Allie, he's just caught between his feelings for Phyllis and his old feelings for Lily. Well, feelings, schmealings, if you ask me, red put him under pressure, and he cracked. How nice of Y&R to continue to give us these beautiful Danny and Christine moments. And this week they finally circled back to Phyllis. Now, of course, it's always a pleasure to see Christine and Phyllis snarking at each other with Danny caught right in the middle. But I don't know why Danny puts up with it. Because at one point, Phyllis implied that she thinks their marriage isn't even going to last because Danny will stray. Oh. That old line? Really? I mean, didn't we determine years ago that Danny never strayed? Phyllis drugged him and tricked him. And the only reason that Danny and Christine broke up all those years ago was because it was Phyllis's manipulation that kept them apart, not Danny's infidelity. But I suppose it's fun that Phyllis keeps the illusion alive. Now, when I first saw Phyllis pop into that scene, I thought to myself, oh good, she's here to cause trouble. I'm happy to be happy, but I also appreciate the trouble. And then as the scene progressed, Phyllis was definitely playing it all off, like, oh well, what do I care? Your marriage won't last anyway. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed because I was looking forward to having some Phyllis drama at this wedding. And I tried to talk myself down. I tried to rationalize it. I said, Allie, that was the old Phyllis. That was the Phyllis of the 90s. We all know the Phyllis of the 90s would have put an octopus in the bed. But the new Phyllis doesn't have time for that, you know? The Phyllis of today is not going to give them the satisfaction of letting them get under her skin. The Phyllis of today is going to be more subtle. She's going to be playing more of a psychological long game. She's not going to be running anyone over with her car. She is not that person anymore. And I was resolved. I was settled. But then I saw the preview of Christine's bachelorette party, and Phyllis walked in and totally crashed the mood, and all my rationality flew right out the window, and I said, yes. Sorry, Tessa, if you were hoping for a romantic reunion with your wife. Instead, you got stuck playing a game of old maid with the Queen of Hearts as the old maid. And in the end, that Queen of Hearts card, Tessa ripped it in two. Very dramatic. Really great scene. I mean, nice symbolism. Beautiful performance. High drama. I'm just wondering, why didn't Tessa mention the investigation to Mariah? Or did I miss it? Why didn't Tessa tell Mariah that she went back to the hotel? Why didn't Tessa tell Mariah that she knows more details about what happened and reassure her that everything's going to be okay, we're going to fix this, that none of it is unfixable? Why would she not say that? I don't know. Maybe it's simply because Tessa got the impression that Mariah was not ready to hear it, because Mariah was acting so weird, so reserved. I mean, she was almost, I mean, at first I thought, boy, she almost seems like she's in a catatonic state. Like, what is this place? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Do we need to bust a chair through the window and let Mariah run off into the distance? Or, worse, put a pillow over her face. That would be some ironic symbolism there, considering what she did with Pillow Man. Ooh, the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest connection is apt, Allie. Nice. Pat myself on the back there. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It almost kind of felt like, yeah, did Mariah have a secret lobotomy? But, you know, Tessa tried so hard, and I thought that she made the best point when she said to Mariah, you know, it doesn't seem like you're getting any better here. So if you're not getting any better, then why are you here? Mariah has tried Genoa City's therapy. She's tried this new place's therapy. I mean, why not try some love therapy? Why not try some homespun therapy? Why not try some open up to your wife therapy? It's like the only thing she hasn't tried, which tells me she's not really trying. I guess that's not fair. I'm sure she's trying in her own way. But at this point, it's like Tessa knows everything, basically. Tessa knows what happened before the incident in the hotel room because, you know, she talked to the bartender. And then Tessa also knows what happened in the hotel room because Mariah told her that she tried to kill the guy. So Tessa is officially up to speed. So why is Mariah still blocking her out? Why didn't she say that? And why is Mariah still blocking her out? All the while, Daniel is like down in the car, waiting in the parking lot, waiting for Tessa to get done with her breakup. And next week, it looks like he will be there waiting to pick Tessa up when she falls into his arms and into a kiss. I am glad that Jack and Billy were able to make an amends, share a drink together, have a toast. Maybe it's just that Jack and Billy make better brothers than business partners. That makes sense. Maybe they just don't play well in the sandbox together, and that's the whole problem. But it was nice seeing them still loving each other, still supporting each other, still showing mutual respect. Unfortunately, Billy was not able to make amends with his mother before she left town. But wow! Bold move, Sally Spectra. Telling the truth. Dun 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 dun. What a concept. I have to say, I was pretty impressed with her. She took a video call with Jill this week. Apparently Jill has gone back to Videoland, which is disappointing to me. But Jill did leave behind a gift. The gift of cold hard cash. Jill has agreed to fund Abbott Communications, but only on the condition that Sally does not tell Billy about it, that Sally keep her involvement a secret from Billy. And surprisingly, Sally said, okay, I'll take your funding, bye. But then she turned around and she told Billy everything. Now that's risky. Honesty is risky at this point, and I'm not sure I would advise it. Because Billy was very offended by the whole thing. He doesn't really want his mother's money. He doesn't really want his mother's involvement. He's still trying to grapple with not just the resentment for everything that happened with Chancellor Industries, but I think it goes much deeper than that. I think he's still trying to grapple with the resentment he's been dealing with his entire life. So I can't imagine that Billy is just going to be okay with taking Jill's money and running the company like nothing happened. I feel like sooner or later Billy is going to have to confront Jill over it. And Jill could just pull out altogether. I think it really puts Billy in a bad position because he knows that Sally wants this company, needs this company. But I think that Billy himself is sort of lukewarm about it all. We know what Billy really wants. Billy wants Chancellor Industries. Abbott Communications was a runner-up prize at best. I feel like Abbott Communications is way down the list of want for him. But now he has to make it work because it's what Sally wants and because he's trying to save their relationship. So he might just have to swallow his pride and take his mom's money so that he can make amends with Sally for almost blowing it with her the first time. I'm stubborn, but I'm not stupid. Who said that this week? I'm stubborn, but I'm not stupid. It literally could have been anyone, but it was only one person. And if you'd like to find out who it was, you can go to yrchat.com. Ooh! Also at yrchat.com, I'm sure T. Nicole is going to be stopping by to let us wish her happy birthday on October 19th. Oh, T. Nicole, I always look forward to your comments. I really do. So you should come by this week. Let us tell you happy birthday. You're a gem, and I hope you have a really wonderful day. Hey, this week I thought I would do something a little different, a little fun at yrchat.com. Who knows, could be a weekly feature here. I thought we would do a fill-in-the-blank rapid fire. So I gave you a question with a fill-in-the-blank, and I just thought I'd see what people say. Here's this week's question. This week on Y&R, I need to see... And I thought I would just rapid fire off the responses that I got. This week on Y&R, I need to see Phyllis be a little bit vulnerable. More action and less talk about what happened off screen. Less what ifs. Claire getting to know Holden better. Some movement. This week on Y&R, I need to see Noah. Pillow Man. Victoria and Kyle start a Lonely Hearts Club. Kane luring Phyllis into bed to prove that he doesn't want Lily, he's just lonely. Kyle having to rescue Claire from a compromising situation with Holden. More info on what Audra and Holden are covering up from their time in LA and Claire finding that info out. And finally, this week on Y&R, I need to see Billy and Sally break up, Nate and Audra, or evidence that the AI corporate raider software exists, or move on. That was kind of fun, you guys. I like that. I'll have to come up with something totally different for tomorrow. Yes, I will. I shall commit to that. Let's keep up these rapid fire fill in the blank. These are kind of fun. Oh, Naomi says, if there is ever a remake of the Andy Griffith Show, then Harrison is perfect for the part of Opie. Ah! Isn't that the truth? Can't you just see him in that opening sequence with the fishing, with Dad fishing pole? Now it's Harrison. That was perfect. Russell says, well, yet again, after another night of heavy drinking, Claire wakes up fresh. No headaches or puffiness. DDK, which stands for Dum Dum Kyle, was wrong about her appearance. And Claire initially handled his intrusion much better than I thought she would, but quickly told him to get steppin' back to GC. As dumb as he is, I did feel for him in the end. Yeah, I kind of did too. And Diana says, I can't say I blame Claire for feeling how she does after what Kyle pulled in Nice. I'd feel the same way as her. I'd also be very attracted to Holden. But I would be lying if I said I wanted Claire to be happy and have all of her dreams come true on her trip with Holden. I think I feel this way because Claire seemed to think she was too cool and high and mighty after Holden asked her on the trip. She was ready to throw everything she had out the window with Kyle just because she was charmed by the first good-looking guy who came along. Claire is lucky to have a good-looking rich guy who loves her and forgives her for her heinous crimes she committed to her family. This is where I feel like karma should bite Claire in the behind. Having said that, I do look forward to seeing what happens in LA. And Connie says, Dear Claire, kick Kyle to the curb. Put Holden in the friend zone and flirt with the new guy who's investigating Noah's accident. He was a pleasant surprise that could be interesting. Ooh. Gary says, Claire's position is valid. She cannot be wheedled back. Any attempts will make it worse, Kyle. You need a new girlfriend. If Claire comes back around to you via life experience, then great. If you're available, which you won't be, go from there. Sherrod says, let Claire crash and burn with Holden. The Newmans are going to learn a hard lesson on letting Claire into their so-called family. Reason, because Holden is why Noah is in the hospital bed. Ooh, dang. Victoria says that's my read also, was that Holden was involved and so is Sienna. Claire will probably bring Holden to the hospital when she visits Noah. Since he's in a coma, Noah won't be able to react. Ooh, so that makes total sense. So that's all very good and makes extra sense too. If Kyle's in town, he can sniff out Holden's connection. So Claire brings Holden to the hospital and then Noah sees him and can't react because he's in a coma. And then Kyle's also sort of around the area sniffing out what's going on. Ooh, that's really smart. I like that a lot. Ooh. I think that's a really good heck of a poll question for the week, you guys. Is Holden directly involved in what happened to Noah? YRChat.com if you want to vote in the poll or throw out some theories. Tavi says, I thought that was interesting that they're going down the facial reconstruction route for Noah. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have to do that, that's for sure, but they did. Naomi says, whatever happened to the voiceover saying, the character of Noah Newman is now being played by... Simple, and the audience is smart enough to understand the change. Plastic surgery isn't necessary, but I guess we'll go with whatever the writers have cooked up. Hopefully no amnesia. Oh yeah, oh boy, I hope they don't add amnesia on top of it. But, you know, this is a really interesting point. They didn't have to do the facial reconstruction. They didn't even have to do the role of Noah Newman is now being played by. Those are relics. Soap operas these days, we can jump right on. We don't need that. But back in the day, that was a real moment when they played it over the screen. The role of so-and-so is now being played by, just so there's no confusion. Yeah, and that felt big at the time when they would do that. But Noah's been off screen for so long, I don't think it's necessary. And it's not as if the last Noah was the only Noah. There were several other Noahs. So I think they're doing it this way with the bandaged face reveal just to add a little bit of drama. And I like it. I think it was a good call. Astra says, I'm calling it now. Sienna and Nick, the new hot couple of Genoa City. Ooh, I can see it. Ooh, I can definitely see it. But then what happens to Nick and Sharon? I mean, is Nick going to get Sienna and Sharon's going to get the hot not detective? Russell says, I thought we were going to have to sit through 4 commercial breaks before Nick answered Noah's phone. Most of us would have answered before the first ring stopped. Oh, yeah, Russell, that's funny because I was literally saying out loud to my screen, answer it, Nick. Just answer it. Literally out loud to the screen. So, I mean, in my mind, that created a nice little bit of suspense there. If it had me shouting at my screen, they did something right. Sue W. says, I don't know what was going on with Sharon over the last couple months or more, but the character has so shifted in mannerism, presence, and overall vibe that it no longer seems organically trauma-based. Come on, soap heroines always eventually prevail. And her recent wardrobe, I Ay, ay. Police burn the TL white slacks. Ugh, that term just denotes yuck. Sigh, the once effortless cougar that was Sharon has been dwindling before our very eyes. The character is sadly becoming more and more unrecognizable. She always did love those white pants, though. She's always loved leather pants, tight white pants. And the cougar, maybe she's gonna come out of it with this new not detective guy. Could be. Of course, I can't imagine she's gonna want to hook up with someone who was against her son. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Steven says, did Sharon actually pack the jeans and the flannel for her trip? Or did she pick up that ensemble at the Goodwill on the way to the hospital? I mean, that's the truth. She just said, I want to be comfortable, and flannel is the go-to grieving dress down. That's how you know. Flannel. Same way that velour jumpsuits are the international soap symbol for recovery. Wait a minute. Was Mariah not wearing a velour jumpsuit? Was Mariah in the mental institution and not wearing a velour jumpsuit? Something is wrong here. That's why the scene fell off. I didn't emotionally connect with it because there was no jumpsuit. I always say jumpsuit, and yet I think it's supposed to be called a sweatsuit. A jumpsuit's like if I was going to jump out of a plane, right? I don't know the difference. Sherrod says, I know we all have the potential to change. But does Y&R really think we should believe that Mariah, the woman who gaslighted Sharon, tried to seduce Nick, locked up Abby over Tyler, and was okay with the cover-up of baby switching, and of 2 dead bodies, Austin and JT, would really go into a depression, leave her wife and child because she tried to kill somebody? No, I am not buying it. But I see what you're doing, Y&R. You're trying to make Mariah into Cassie. Tessa broke my heart today. Yeah, none of it makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. But yes, the performances were very good. Tessa's performance was very good. Here's an interesting theory from Daisy, who says, after her drunken interaction with that man, Mariah staying away hasn't made any sense to me. I get that she might be going through trauma from Ian Ward and his cult, but it makes no sense for her to stay away from her wife and family rather than let them know what she's been dealing with, and let them be there for support. I wonder why. Well, this week I'm wondering if what happened to Noah is a possible connection. Maybe that man is with the cult or with some other criminal enterprise, and because Mariah almost killed him, he wants to pay her back. And driving Noah off the road was meant as a wake-up call for Mariah. She can either show up and take whatever's coming to her, or more of her family will be injured or die. If this is happening, it's going to be really awful for Mariah. The guilt and pain she'd feel would be insurmountable. I hope, though, that she'd remember she is strong enough to deal with them while protecting her family at the same time. Ooh, that's interesting. Could there be a connection between Mariah and what happened with Noah? You know, I like this point from Gary because I share it. Gary says, Danny admires the way Christine is able to handle Phyllis because he never does it himself. Insult after insult to Cricket, and Danny might say, but Phyllis. I will not be inflammatory on the eve of this wedding to call wimp, but it always bothers me. I don't want to hear about rising above. Defend your woman. Yeah, you know, Gary, I noticed it too. I had that sense too. Like, well, why don't you say something, Danny? You know, I hate to speak ill of Danny, because I love Danny and Danny is love. I love Danny and Danny is love. He might as well be a beetle in my mind. But yeah, I mean, there was a real lack of defending Chris. There was a real lack of putting Phyllis in her place for what she was saying. Oh, last week I asked you guys, Phyllis and Kane, sparks or no sparks? You're not going to believe it. 50-50. 50% of you say there's sparks. 50% of you say no. Dolores says no. Romantic sparks. These two are better in business, not bed. I see a corporate powerhouse to be reckoned with. Tony also says no sparks yet. I'd like to see less tech guru, less Victor victim, and a few episodes of Phyllis's seductive side. Then she and Kane can have smoldering looks and spark from there. Well, but we did have the chest linger. I think you left this comment prior to the chest touch. How did that change how you feel? Chest touch plus sexy music over the background. Sue W says no. Phyllis seems desperate in all things Kane. Well, not for a hookup at least, as I've not yet seen. But she bulldozed her way to Nice and into Kane's orbit, all the while ridiculously posturing herself as his equal or above. I don't believe Kane thinks of her as anything but a giant pain in the keister, albeit generally useful computer-wise. But she is one of those very few wanting anything to do with him, and she's smoking hot, so his hot self may decide why not. Phyllis, of course, will do whatever it takes to stay in Kane's favor, so I guess if they do hook up, sparks will fly. Yeah, I don't know. It seems so isolated. The chest touch seems so isolated. They had a couple other burning looks. Marianne V says, I actually do think Kane and Phyllis have chemistry. I voted yes. Lily isn't interested in Kane right now, and Nick is more interested in Sharon than Phyllis. I think Kane and Phyllis can be hot together. Robin says, Kane is growing on me, and I think he and Phyllis have great sexual chemistry. Let's see if their first romp, including the ripping off of each other's clothes, will be as good as the Phyllis-Nick one. Lily reminds me of the sister-in-law on Sanford and Son that used to always be angry and swinging her purse at Sanford. Not a compliment to Lily, and that memory dates me. Wow, we have gone from Opie, the Andy Griffith Show, all the way to Sanford and Son. I loved Sanford and Son. Aunt Esther is who you're thinking of. Sanford and Son's so good. Wow. Those are some great references, and you're right, not very complimentary to Lily, but it's actually kind of an apt comparison at this point. Well, let's end up here talking about sets, because Connie says, chatter gossip. Y&R's moving to a new studio already in use by B&B and with a promise of extended and or new sets. I first saw it on a CBS Peter Bergman presser. 46 years ago, he was Cliff on AMC, and in 1989 transitioned to Jack. Over 50 years on CBS. Wow. Congrats to him as our beloved soap opera dreamboat. I'm thinking the wedding dress photo shoot might have been a teaser for a new set. Fingers crossed for a Marchetti storyline. I like the potential possibility to be tied into the fashionable runway that I saw on B&B. I am so excited. Ooh, wow. Oh gosh, 50 years with CBS. That's incredible. And also, I've been hearing about this set change for a while. Is it official? That makes me think that this outdoor set that Claire was at this week looks so much like Il Giardino. So maybe they're sharing that set now, which is great. I mean, there's probably much more potential for crossover now and for maximizing the set use between Y&R and B&B. Careful, Y&R. You're going to make me start watching B&B again. We have Y&R, we have B&B, and soon we will have F&F. Oh, if you're watching the video this week, you may have tried to decipher my little note up there, letting you guys know that I believe the tentative release date for the Fauna and the Flora, Book 1, Return to Genoa City, is now November 2nd. So it actually has moved up to November 2nd. I am just waiting on a few final details. First being the paperback copies. I'm expecting a shipment of physical copies of the book. This is the only one I have up here. I'm expecting a big box of books, which I will use for signed copies if anybody's going to want a signed copy. Of course, the standard paperback, audiobook, and ebook will be available on Amazon, but here's the thing. The other piece of the puzzle that I'm still waiting on is approval for the audiobook. Amazon has to approve the audiobook. And, you know, I've never published a book before, and this is a completely DIY project. I have just had to figure everything out on my own and hope that I've done it right. So I think I have. I feel confident about my audiobook files. And it's submitted, and I'm just waiting on them to approve it. Special update, though. My email peeps will be receiving an exclusive full chapter preview of the Fauna and the Flora today. So if you haven't checked your email yet, go check it. There will be a full chapter preview. You can choose how you want to experience it, ebook, PDF, or audiobook version. And it is a really fantastic scene featuring two Genoa City greats, Cathra Chancellor and John Abbott, together again at sunset. It's really a lovely scene, and I especially think that you guys are gonna love it. It's a really great example of a way that I've taken inspiration from classic soap opera characters who are now gone, and I've given them this new life in the forest in a totally new and transformative way. I think you're really going to appreciate it. I think you're really going to love it. It's a touching, slow scene. It's a sit down and savor this one type of scene. But you know, if you're not one of my email peeps, though, I just don't know what will become of you. You're missing all the best stuff. If you're an email peep, check your email. You're going to have a good treat today. If you're not, there's still so much more to come. You can still hop on by going to yrchat.com/storylines. There you can sign up to be one of my email peeps. I'm definitely going to be sending out still a few extra special things, but it's not going to be a weekly blast. I want to give you guys my good stuff leading up to the book release so that you can get exclusive previews and whatnot. But after that, I imagine I'll probably still be pulling stuff from the Y&R Chat archives, and it's just a little behind-the-scenes newsletter from me if you're interested. So yrchat.com/storylines, and as always, yrchat.com is a great place where you can go to leave your comments. Great comments get featured on Y&R Chat too, so if you have something that you feel like everyone needs to hear, go there, leave your questions or your comments right there on the website, and be sure to check in tomorrow. I'll put a fresh fill in the blank up there to start out our conversation for the week, because I had the idea and I thought that sounds fun. Rapid fire fill in the blank questions sound fun for conversation starters. So all of that is at yrchat.com. Keep your ears and eyes open, and look forward to another beautiful week of Y&R, and I will see you next Sunday. I love you guys. I hope you enjoy this gorgeous weather and have a wonderful week. Bye.